Flowers in my hair.
When you hear me talk every once in a while from the business side of things, I will tell people that I've only ever had one person that came to me and said, I want to do this as a business.
Yeah.
It was Bonnie. And she has. So she has done this specific presentation in a couple of our Your Oil Journey events and does a fabulous job with it. So Amy and I thought we were going to just take the night off tonight. We didn't have to learn anything new. We could just have Bonnie do it. So
Except that isn't true because we always learn something new, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean to learn to teach or learn to present it? Yeah. But we always learn. Again, we love her this. I have paper and stuff to take notes. I promise you, something will click with me tonight that hasn't clicked before. So even if you've heard this before, chances are you're gonna get a new takeaway. So yeah.
Can I tell on you?
Sure, I don't even know what you're gonna say, but surely it's nothing really whatever.
Well, those of you who have been around for this set of continuing education events know that, for example, when we got ready to do the first one, which was the essential oils foundations, there's a section in that one that talks about the grounding oils being the trees and the flowers and all the things. And she was the one, and I understand why, who was like, she didn't really understand the need to have that in there. Is
now,
that a good way
true.
to say it?
In my defense, I had always been teaching another session when that went on. So just from looking at it or glancing at it, I'm like, eh. But then when I sat in on it and we did it, and I was like, oh yes.
Yeah. So, I'm the one in this session who's like, I don't need to know all this science gobbledygook. I just want to know how to use my oils. And I learn something every time I've heard her teach this. Yes. So without further ado, I'm going to see how awkwardly we can go.
We're going to have to just kind of transition.
Bear with us. We're going to move out of the screen. We're going to do a share screen. Do you want to start with the share screen? Or do you want? Okay.
Hey, Carol, I'm just going to scoot back, and then you can scoot back a little bit if you need to.
Okay.
If you feel like you're, and then I still can see, and they can still, not that they need to see me, but I'm just back here. So I'm just here for the party. Remember?
What am I doing? Oh, yes, I'm going to PowerPoint. Sweet mercy. This has been my day, folks. This has been my day. And okay, you're doing it.
I'll take
Thank
over.
you.
From
all right.
I'm just going to
We're backing up.
Are you backing up?
I'm backing up a little bit.
All right. How do we get this to full screen?
We go to presenter view. And then
I gotta get the flowers out of my
you
hair.
slide show. There we go. All right. See my paper? I'm going to take some notes.
Okay, there we go. All right. So this is about essential science. So I am not a science nerd. I am not any of that, but I do like to know how things work, why they work, and so forth. So that's why I love this science part of things. So we're going to just jump right in. I'm going to try to slow my speech down so that we're not done in like 8 minutes.
They're used to us talking fast, so don't worry about that.
So a lot of this though, hopefully you guys will be taking notes. So I am going to try to slow this down. So in the scientific collaboration part, we have 3 different organizations, if you will, that kind of come together. The first one are chemists. Now the chemists are the scientific partners that help us identify each of the components of the essential oil. They also help us to ensure that the compounds are at the proper levels from plant to bottle. They are also responsible for identifying if there are any synthetics or any alterations that are inside that oil, because of course, that's what doTERRA will absolutely stay away from. Dr. Pappas, you guys have, if you've been around for any time at all, you've heard his name before. He has a great Facebook page as well as a website. It's called Essential Oils University. His website is www.essentialoils.org. That's where he shares many different information on all kinds of the essential oils and all the testing on that scientific side. So if you do like to get in deeper with that and work with all those, big long names and figure out exactly where they came from, how the compounds work, that's a great place that y'all can go. The next group that we work with are called life scientists. Life scientists are our microbiologists, our nutritionalists, our physiologists, and they help identify the actual chemical compounds that are found inside of our oils. Um, Chemical compounds in the oils, we can have somewhere between 150 and 250 compounds per oil. So they are extremely complex. So they are the ones that go in there and help kind of sort all of that part out. They also are responsible for helping us understand how the oils work with us both physically and biologically. So again, they are a very huge part. They're also responsible for research on things like our immune system, how that works, as well as our cellular health. The next group,
It's me again, sorry. But I took my call.
You're fine. The next group is the medical practitioners. These are the ones that, of course, are helping educate and inform the patients, which are us. So they kind of bring it from that medical field to the layman, again, people like us. So they help bridge that gap also between alternative medicine and traditional medicine. Most of us that work with the essential oils, of course, that's what we prefer. We prefer to go the natural routine, versus the medical, the other normal medical routine. We're going to try to, bridge that gap as easily as we can, and that's where the medical practitioners come in and help us get that done. So there's also great information that can be found at doTERRA scienceblog.com. So that's doTERRA's scienceblog.com. So again, you'll be able to see a little bit more if this part interests you. All righty, so we use at doTERRA called co-impact sourcing. What this does is this helps empower our growers, our families, and also our communities. So if you go on your doTERRA website and look up co-impact sourcing, that is something that I think sets doTERRA probably apart more than any from any other company, is how they do that. So the way that works is it's our plants, our people, and our product. And the people at doTERRA, we work directly with the growers to form a long-term partnership that ensures, I can't talk tonight, fair and timely payments. That's really important because a lot of these growers are in third world countries, and for years and years and years, they've just been abused by the middleman or the government itself. So that's something that doTERRA goes in to protect the actual growers. And these partnerships also help improve livelihoods by providing jobs, opportunities, trainings, and also any of our healing hands, our helping hands programs that we've got. The plants, the growers are trained on how to implement sustainable plants and how to use natural resource management practices in both planning and the harvesting of our oils. The distillers are also encouraged to utilize renewable energy and use energy efficient technologies whenever it's possible in their countries. The product, through the product development, we have long-term sourcing relationships with these growers and distillers. That's very important so that we know that we're going to be able to continue to get our oils. That's something we don't ever want to happen, is to run out of a particular oil or blend. So that partnership is very, very important to ensure the loyalty plus the supply chain of all of our partners. Now, let's move on here so from plant to consumer, the how, the when, the where from our sourcing. Our sourcing is not only harvested where the plant grows indigenous. This is probably one of the things when I first got into doTERRA that kind of blew me away, because a lot of the essential oil growers will grow them in greenhouses. And you just don't, the plant does not produce the kind of oil that we're looking for. So if it grows indigenous in that country, that's where we go. So I think that that's a huge part, again, about doTERRA. It's also harvesting where the plant grows, but also in favorable conditions. If you pick the plant or you pick the fruit too early, it will affect the oil. If you pick it too late, it will affect the oil. If you have picked it or trying to pick it during a dry season, unseasonably dry, you're going to affect the plant. If you try to harvest it right after heavy rains, you're also going to affect the plant. So that's another thing that doTERRA really pays attention to, is how, when, and where those plants are extracted from. So again, the extraction part. This is hard to do with two screens, isn't it?
You just
Okay.
told on yourself.
Exactly. So the extraction, just to point out though, this is the way that we normally get our oils. The only exception to this is our citrus oils. Our citrus oils come from the rind of the fruit and not the fruit itself, and they are cold pressed. But otherwise, most of the oils are done by the steaming extraction. So what happens, as you can see here, the water with the plant material gets added to a great big, tub, bowl, container, whatever they happen to have in that country. Then it is heated. It creates the steam. The steam then goes through this cooling process. Then once it's cooled, the separation starts. So that's the old separating the water from the oil kind of thing. Once it gets down here into this container, that's how we can then extract the oil, and separate the oil from the water. So that's basically how the extraction process happens. The next one is our CPTG, and I'm going to get this right, Certified Pure Tested Grade.
Yep.
So I did my homework. So for those of you who used to, it used to say something else, we have now changed it. So it is Certified Pure Testing Grade. All of our testing is done by third party. We don't do the testing, or we do testing ourselves, but we always send it off to a third party. The gas chromatography is one of the ways that it's tested. Also the mass spectrometer, that was always my favorite. I love saying that word, isn't that stupid? But anyway, we just make sure that we test it so that it's free of all of synthetics. No foreign constituents in there. So no heavy metals, no pesticides, no non-aromatic compounds, anything that is not an actual part of that plant. That's what, that we are, looking for. The next thing that we do is our source to you. This is, again, I don't know how long doTERRA has had the source to you page. They didn't have it when we first started.
Right. It's been 4 or 5 years.
Probably.
At the bottom of each of your bottles, if you look on there, there will be a number. This number kind of works like if you were to get, say, a bottle of, I hate to say this, but let's say Tylenol from the store.
Yeah.
It's going to have a code number on there so that it can be traced back and tracked back. So when we had the Tylenol scares, but 20 years ago now, they could actually trace that back and found out that the sample from that lot number did not come from Tylenol. So that's how they knew that somebody had tampered with a product after it had already been bottled and got out there. So doTERRA has taken that extra step, not because they have to, but because they wanted to. So you can trace that back and know exactly where that little bottle of oil actually came from. I just think that that's absolutely amazing. So it starts with our growers, the distilleries, the scientists, the testing, the practitioners, right to your hand. So it'll follow it all the way through. So it's just kind of gives you that that good feeling or that sense of confidence that whatever you're putting, especially when you're putting it, whether it's on or in your body, that you know exactly where that came from. So, okay, now we're getting into the good part. So all of that, most of you have probably heard before, but this is where the fun begins for me. So each oil has a different level of frequency. Now this frequency is much like musical notes, and I think that's really cool. And so think of it like as the bass, the baritone, the tenor, the alto, and the soprano. So they're all different, but they all work together. So I'm going to kind of read you guys something through here, and this is the.
So wait, when we're talking about vibrational frequency of the oils, we're not talking about woo-woo.
No.
It's actual science.
It's actual real.
Science.
It's not, there they go again.
Yeah. Well, because everything in the body has energy. That's what atoms, that's what it is. So it's the energy that when we were created and those things are created, that's there. Yes. And that's what makes the body function. So every living thing has that.
Yes.
So plants, animals. I mean, everything that is alive. So that's just what that means.
Now, just like anything else, people can take this and go weird with it.
Sure.
Of course they can.
We're not gonna
But
go
it's
weird.
But we're
not
not gonna
weird.
go weird.
No, absolutely.
all
not.
right.
It's
We're a
just
little weird,
science.
but not
It's
like
just-
that kind of weird. Yes,
It's facts
science,
with people
yes.
that are, their
Sure.
pay grade's way higher than
Yeah,
mine.
absolutely.
And so they know all this stuff. So this is real. No,
Okay.
this is not the.
Just setting that groundwork
There
right
we
there.
go. So when our bodies get sick, and we get weak, then the frequency of our cells, they actually reduce.
Mhm.
So if you have a kidney infection, if your kidney works at so many, hertz, then it actually gets reduced.
It hurts.
It hurts all right. That's what I was thinking when you said hurts. I'm like,
Boy.
that still hurts. Yeah.
She's gonna wish we'd gone over there.
So I'm going to read you this thing. So what Amy just said is everything is alive. We're all connected and changing. And we have our own, some of you may have heard the word chi, like our inner chi. That is the inner frequency. It's just another word for it. So don't be afraid of that word. That's not a freaky word or anything. That's just another way of saying the frequencies that happen in your body. So this was actually, it was named after, so you've all heard of Hertz and megahertz. That was actually a German scientist. His name was Heinrich Hertz, and that's hence how we got the name Hertz. But it says he experimentally proved the existence of electromagnetic waves. So again, this is real science. This isn't weird stuff. So that is an HZ for any of you science weirdos out there. That is a Hertz. Now, what's really cool about this is that means that it cycles one time every second. And that's going to be real important here in a minute. So a Hertz cycles one time all the way around every second. All right, now here's our big sciencey thing for the day. All right, let's see. Okay, everything in nature vibrates. Vibration can be defined, here we go, hold on, as a periodic motion of the particles of an elastic body or medium in alternating opposite directions from the position of equilibrium when that equilibrium has been disturbed.
You know what I just heard?
Wah, 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 wah.
That sounds like a dance to me. That's what that sounded like. A dance.
Exactly.
Like a dance. Yeah.
So simply put,
Clumsy one, but a dance.
your body, everything in your body, the environment, everything around you is made up of trillions of tiny little itty bitty little molecules, and they are constantly moving, circulating, circling. That's all that means. So I love that line. I got to memorize that thing. Just blow people's minds. But anyway, so that's what happens. So that cycle of energy vibrates at a more frequent rate. The vibrational frequency rises. So it makes sense if something was going slow. But then if it goes faster, then it's going to be a higher frequency. But this is what blew me away. The vibrational frequencies in essential oils. I'm trying to get that away from me.
No, I know, but that will drive people crazy that half your face is missing.
Oh.
So yeah, no, we're good. Don't
That
you
may
even
be a
move.
good
No. Don't you move.
But the vibrational frequencies of essential oils are measured in megahertz, not
Okay.
by hertz. Now remember, hertz went around how many times? I'm going to see this in the chat. One time per second. So essential oils are measured in megahertz, which cycle at a much faster rate. Anybody want to guess how fast that is?
Let me turn the chat on.
1,000.
Got 1,000?
Mhm.
Carol, do you want to take a
Okay.
guess?
Should check in the chat. See.
100.
Anybody else?
Let's see. Anybody got anything? I'm sure they got some guesses. There's just a little bit of a delay. So
Yeah, that's okay.
1,000 per second. 1,000 times more.
What did I
On
say?
the
Did I
recording,
say
they won't
1,000?
be able to see the chat.
Did I say 1,000?
Yeah, you said
No, I
that.
said, you said what?
So we got 1,000,
Okay.
100.
I was trying like a million.
Okay,
Yeah.
here we are. It is 1 million.
Oh,
So think
wow.
about
Oh
that.
my goodness.
A
Yeah.
hertz goes around one time per second, which is pretty quick. The megahertz in essential oils go around 1 million times per second.
So the hertz is Carol speed and the megahertz is Joshua Holt speed.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I think that's really important to show you when people say, well, those oils, why do they work? Or, how can they be so powerful? They're extremely powerful. So anyway, now you can go impress all your friends with that wonderful information. Okay, so why is that important to us? It's important because when our bodies become weak or sick, our frequencies changes. So over a long period of time, our tissues, our organs, our cells, they get disease, they get sickness, and so they just kind of start slowing down.
Interesting.
And so, we've always said, well, the older you get, the more you slow down. Well, wonder why, some people, very few, are still, extremely active, and that's just because of where their bodies are, that they have their bodies literally have slowed down the frequencies.
And you know
of
what
their
that made me
bodies.
think of? That statement right there makes me think of autoimmune issues, because it tends to be things have been going on for a while, and then it's one, and then it's another, and then it's another. But again, it's just the body as a whole, the damage that the tissues, and it's taking its toll, and so yeah, interesting.
Yep. So back to our little music example here. I think this is really important, that low frequency oils support the physical ailments.
Okay.
So that's a really good thing to jot down in your notes. Your mid-frequency oils promote emotional change. And then your high-frequency oils, they encourage spiritual growth and realization. So as we go through these next several slides, that's again going to be something that's really important, because what are you using the oil for at that specific time? Are you using it for a physical ailment? Maybe, muscle, your muscles hurt. Are you dealing with inflammation? Are you dealing with some kind of nerve pain? Are you dealing with emotional? Do you need that uplifting? Do you, are you just feeling blue and down? Or are you really going into even a more serious place, where, it's a spiritual place that you need
Well,
to deal with?
I thought of this screen, this right here makes me think, I know because a lot of the people that are on right now have a base knowledge of oils. So immediately, even though I don't know what's low frequency, mid frequency, high frequency, I look at that and go, I bet you low frequency supports physical ailments. Okay, so I'm going to think that maybe, no, I'm not going to say, because now I'm going to embarrass myself.
No.
I say the wrong oil. But you know what I mean? There's like oils. I mean, obviously the emotional aspect is
I'm
going to
going to
be
guess that oregano is a low frequency
low
oil.
frequency. I started to say frankincense, and then I was like, but it's such a spiritual. So but again, for those of you that aren't, there are some oils that have popped into your mind and you're thinking, promote, like for the mid frequency promotes emotional. What's the last word?
I'm going to guess change.
Change. Okay.
I'm going to guess mid-frequency oils are citrus oils.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. And so, okay, sorry, continue. I just know, because we have such a knowledge. I mean, the ones that are on here have that already. So I know in their minds are going, I bet.
And
so
again, one of the things we want to do on these videos is to encourage you that we so often hear, I need to know more before I can teach others.
Right.
You know a whole lot more than you think you know.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So interesting. This is, I love this.
Yep.
I stand corrected. Again. Go ahead.
Okay, so essential oils are considered volatile. And the first time I looked at that, I was like, that's not mean. That's not what that's.
Or what you think of is, I'm going to light something and you're going to catch your bottle of oil on fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to put it on, it's going to hurt me if it's volatile. That's not what that means. It actually means that it evaporates quickly. So when we first started, we were always told to put it on directly, which they call now neat. And so that's kind of how my brain works. And then along the line, they, the doctors came out and, we were, encouraged to add fractionated coconut oil or some kind of base to there. Well, I fought that, and I still do to, some degree, because that's not the way I was taught. But it actually, some of these oils, as we'll see, especially the high frequencies, the low frequency, sorry, their molecules are so small that they just evaporate real quickly.
Interesting.
So when we use them, it's almost like they hit our skin and more of it evaporates
Like
up than
flash off,
actually
yeah.
goes in.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of pay attention to that. So it does make sense to be able to use a carrier oil,
Mhm.
you know, with them. But that's why we do that, because they're called volatile because of the evaporation.
So you can almost think of the carrier oil as helping to weight down the oil.
Yes, and to keep it on the skin longer so that the oil can't escape and it will actually go into the skin, go into the bloodstream, which is exactly what
And
we
do
want
what
it to
we're,
do.
yeah, exactly, what
Right.
we're hope for, what we're planning
Yes.
for it to do, yes.
This really messes me up when you have to keep hitting the button. Okay, so essential oils are classified and based on their
Volatility.
thank you.
You're welcome.
That word
That is a big
I
word
just
for
said
the
like
day.
4 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have top node, middle node, and base node. Okay, so again, we're back to our music. So we've got top, middle, and base.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. So we're going to kind of just go right through these pretty quickly. Okay. On the top nodes, these are the highest. Where'd it go? There we go. Vibrational rate. They also dissipate quickly. And the reason for that is because they have, again, the smallest molecules. And they are used for energizing, invigorating, lifting, and elevating moods.
So those are the citrus oils.
There you go.
Okay.
So those are the top nodes.
Okay.
They're also great for pick-me-ups. So again, you guys guessed correctly. So which oils are these? We've got our grapefruit, wild orange, lemon, lemongrass, and bergamot.
And
So
any other citrus oil
Yes.
that has been introduced since these slides
exactly.
were made.
Yep.
All the mandarins.
Yeah.
I think the limes are on there. And so these are the heart or the middle nodes, which the heart, of course, makes sense. In the middle nodes, they have a moderate, hence the middle. They also have a balance of the smaller molecules and the larger molecules. So again, it's where we're not getting up here, we're not getting down here, so hence in the middle. They give the body a balancing effect. So I'm sure that everybody can think of at least one oil immediately.
Balance.
Yeah, so good. And they work well with your core, which is going to be, you know, the inside and the heart. They carry the qualities of stability. And then, of course, we have our emotional stress. So different from like the citrus oils that are going to uplift and so forth, this emotional stress is more like the deep, more serious cases, I guess. I'm going to try really hard to stay compliant. So which oils are in the middle? Here we go. So I think you had
I guess low was or oregano, and I was wrong. Yep.
So we have the citrus oil switch to
Yeah.
the middle when it's actually the other way. So we've got melaleuca, eucalyptus, peppermint, ginger, oregano, marjoram, lavender, thyme. So again, all of these are going to be that mid-level. And then we have our base notes. Now, you probably can guess which ones, of course, these are going to be, but these are going to be your heavy, slow vibrating oils. So when we go to the next screen, you're going to know why, because the oil is actually physically thicker when it comes out of the bottle.
Bedver.
Yeah. Frankincense.
Chrism.
Yes. So they are very, very, and they are literally heavy oils. So they're not as volatile as the citrus ones. So if you use those neat, you can probably get away with that a whole lot easier on these than you can the citrus oils.
Yeah.
The molecules, of course, their size is a lot larger. They stay longer periods on the skin, again, which is why you can get away with using them just on a neat basis. They're stabilizing, grounding, de-stressing, relaxing, soothing. And they are great for calming children and adults. But what's kind of tricky here is, remember, lavender was in the middle, which is normally for that, but it is only a middle note. It is not a base note.
Interesting.
Which is why Serenity is so effective, because it combines the lavender with the woods.
You're getting to the blending. You're one step ahead.
Sorry.
Listen to her. So what do we have? We have our myrrh, our frankincense, our vetiver, and our sandalwood. So those are some of your base notes. So blending. Oh, this stuff gets good. Okay, so there's two different kinds. See, did y'all notice I had to read my notes at the beginning, but now once we got to this stuff,
Yeah.
I'm good. Okay, so the layering is just what it says. What you're going to do is you're going to take 2 different oils and you're going to leave their frequencies and what they do alone. You're not going to mess with those. So people that have some struggle with breathing may want to use, our breathe first and layer it with lime. That was something that I used at the very beginning when I started. What that layering does is it allows each one of those oils to do exactly what they were meant to do. So they don't cross over. But the way that you want to use the oils is when you put the first oil on, wait for 20 to 30 seconds before you layer the next one. After you,
And I'm not gonna lie, that's hard for me to wait.
20 or 30 seconds? Well,
Yeah.
then you're supposed to do it again though.
I know, it's hard for me.
So-
I'm not gonna lie, because I will do that and then I forget. I forget to finish it. I'm sorry, I just do. I'm just being honest.
Don't go anywhere.
I-
Just stand right
it's hard
there.
for me.
You gotta
I'm
count
just-
1, 2, 3, 4. Have the bottle in your hand. Oh,
Did you say a
But this
Bible
is-
or a bottle?
a bottle.
Both. Perhaps. I do
Both.
both in my hand at the moment.
But
I'm
this
just
is
being
also
honest.
why we don't combine things into a roller bottle sometimes. We
Correct.
suggest layering them
No,
instead of.
and don't freak people out. Doesn't
Right.
mean you can't.
No,
combine
right.
things, but sometimes the effective way is to layer.
It depends on what you're
Yeah.
you're trying to do. And that's the huge learning curve, I guess, if you will. And the keep practicing and messing with it until you figure out exactly what to do. But the layering is just one of the 2 ways that you can do a blend. But just think of it. Let's see. Try to have a quick example. I should have been prepared with one. Maybe you're trying to do 2 things. Maybe you're trying to soothe your muscles and try to calm down and relax so you can go to sleep at night. That would be something that I probably wouldn't use do a makeup blend. I may use something like our Deep Blue or whatever oil you might use for muscle relaxation, copaiba oil, and then put that on, wait for 20 to 30 seconds, and then layer it with serenity or lavender for that calming or the adaptive
Mhm.
to go to sleep. That's how I would kind of use layering. When you've got 2 different things you're trying to take care of, layer them instead of
Well,
trying to blend them together.
And that ties in very nicely with the Aroma Touch and the Symphony of the Cells that we talked about last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's why they layer them and put them on, and instead of just drop, and then rub it all in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
How'd you like that?
I-
Highly technical.
I love that.
Sure.
Absolutely love it. We don't have to get technical.
Yeah,
We just have to be able to, and it's like, I don't have to, well, I have to know why, but most people don't have to know why. It's just, if it works, it works. Just leave it at that.
Well,
You don't have to know.
Right, and
why.
I think the beauty of this too is the fact that doTERRA has done, and for some people, they need all of this information. And I'm not saying it's bad, not bad information, good information, but for some people, that doTERRA has done the work. So
Yes.
again, the oils that are blended together in the blend of Deep Blue, we're all there for a reason.
Mhm.
The oils that are in Aroma Touch are there for a reason. Even when the Igbok blend that we had years ago that Mary Carlisle put together, each one of those oils was there for a reason and a purpose and had a job to do. So
Yes.
doTERRA has done that, and I'm learning that more and more with doTERRA. In fact, I was just on something recently was talking about the cleanse, and they said this is not just a bundle put together for a sales feature. Each part of the cleanse and restore, like the cleanse and restore kit, are there for a reason.
Yes.
doTERRA has a plan and a purpose, and it isn't just to sell something. Those things are grouped together for a reason. So that's, and again, this is just the confirmation. And for people, they want to see that. Okay, well, why? What makes doTERRA different, or why are these oils all together? This is why,
Yes.
because these scientists know the reason. And for those that want to learn, they can. But for those that don't, the scientists have put them together
Mhm.
Yes.
according to their notes, according to their frequencies, all of that, done that. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so again, this is when you're talking about the vibration of the oil, that just allows them to, again, you don't have to talk about the vibrate, that's just how they work.
Mhm.
So it lets each oil do what it was intended to do when you work at it on layering.
Mhm.
So again, you apply the first one, you wait for 20 to 30 seconds. It's not really that hard. It's really not that
Okay,
hard.
Bonnie, maybe for
Put
some
the,
of it
put
is.
the oil bottle on the opposite side of the room. Put them all over there.
I can get there much faster than 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
you
why
have to come all the way
downstairs.
back before you put it on.
Yes, yes, yes.
There you go. But then do it again. So put on the first one, wait 20, 30 seconds, put it on the second one, wait 20, 30 seconds, and then repeat. So that's how you want to do your layering. So the second way that you can do the blends is actually literally blending of the oils. So this is the true blending. So when you're doing this, you are actually creating a new oil, because now you've taken two different frequencies and added it together. Take tea, sweet tea,
Yes,
and
let's-
lemonade.
okay, mhm. Yeah, sure.
When you mix them together,
Yeah, an Arnold Palmer.
exactly.
But
So
there's
you
an art to
completely,
it.
yeah, you completely changed,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Sure.
and some people may mix it half and half. Some people may mix it with unsweet, and because the lemonade is sweet enough. Some people may, you know, mix it with a lot of tea and a little bit of lemonade. But so it changes that drink no matter what you do. So if you think about that, that's all blending is, okay? Some of the things though with blending that people, I think this is where we kind of get off track a little bit, because we're thinking, okay, I want to add a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. That we're not making a potion. That's not what we're doing. So you should start with about 3 oils. You can work your way up to 5, but 3 is the best place to stay at. So how do you do that? That's the fun part. But what this does is this then allows the frequencies of the oils to be balanced. And so the secret is to take one from the low note, one from the medium note, and one from the high note, so that you are balancing out that new blend that you're creating equally. So in other words, you would not want to create a blend of vetiver, frankincense, and myrrh. That would be, it's not going to do you any good. Those
First
are
of all, it would take
low
them
notes.
3 hours to get all of those oils out of the bottle into a blend.
And smell
true.
really
True.
funky.
And be sound asleep in 30 seconds. I mean, yeah.
Or take a lemon, a grapefruit, and an orange. I mean, there would be no reason to put those 3 in
Now
a
you're
blend
stepping on
together.
tracks. Now you're
Yeah.
stepping on.
Except that it smells good.
That's
Except that
true.
it's, yeah.
But don't do that, because now you have all these, you know, the high frequency oils that you're using. Don't do it that way. So if you're going to do your own blend, again, doTERRA's already done their own. But if you're going to do your own, you know, make sure that you are, you know, taking one from each. So the way that you can, and use a carrier oil. Okay. So here's how you do this. First of all, people say, well, how do I even get started? Where do I go? The ME book. So the Go to the Modern Essentials book, it gives you a list in there exactly what that oil is. So whether it's a low, a medium, or high. So let's say that you're, and you want to go to your body system first that you're looking for. So let's say it's going to be a breathing issue. You're going to go to the respiratory part. You're going to pick out and separate all the high, the medium, and the low. So that also means that you don't have to use this particular oil, and this particular oil. If you have any of those oils that are for that particular thing that you're trying to address, and it's a high frequency, pick out any of them. It doesn't matter. So you pick out your favorite, or you can just pick out, that's the only oil I have that is a high note. It doesn't matter. And so that should be between 5 and 20% of the blend. Those things are wild orange, bergamot, grapefruit, lemon, lemongrass. Then you have kind of in the middle. So now we're going to go from the top. So we got the top middle node. So not quite down to the middle yet, but somewhere kind of in the middle. You want it to be between 20 and 80% of that blend. Some of those are going to be basil and fennel, as an example.
Oh, my mom, mom's gonna love that.
Yeah.
My mom loves fennel.
Fennel.
She loves fennel.
Your middle notes, this wants to be 50 to 80% of your blend. There's your lavender, cypress, eucalyptus, white fir, geranium, and helichrysum. So these again, you know, some of you will say, well, you know, I don't have any white fir or geranium. Well, good, you have lavender. It's another reason to always have things like lemon, lavender. So now we have a high and we have a medium, you know, already. Okay. And then you have, oh, there's melaleuca, rosemary, ginger, thyme, oregano, peppermint. Okay. I'm going to go back in case that just went too fast for you guys. So if you're taking notes, you might even want to take a screenshot of these as well, or just call us and let us know, and I'll send you the actual sheet.
I will send out the link to this video again tomorrow and post it on the team pages. So
Okay, so everybody
you
can
need
watch
to
it.
rewatch. Yep.
Okay. So your middle base notes are going to be between 50 and 80% of the blend, and then you've got your clary sage, rose, ylang ylang. Your base notes also for, it's going to be between 5 and 20%. Again, your frankincense, your sandalwood, your myrrh, and your vetiver. So how do you do that? Okay, so again, let's go with breathing. You're going to look up in your book. You're going to go to respiratory. You're going to find out the breathing issue that is closest to what you're trying to deal with. You're going to make note of the high, and you can do the high, and then the next step down, the middle, the next step down, and then the low. So you can really have 5 categories, or just stay with the high, the mid, and the low. Write down the oils that that they're suggesting. Find out what you actually have, and then if you have more than one, pick your favorite. You know, that works best for you. Then do your percentages. So let's suppose you're trying to put something together for emotional, and you just have more of a, I just need to pick me up. I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm not bad at all. I just really would like something to just give me a little bit more energy. You may look at that high frequency and take it at its highest percentage. And then maybe on your base where it's 5 to 20, maybe you don't have that deep feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So just add 5% of those. So you can kind of, again, this is where you can just sit and think for a minute. You don't have to get all sciencey about it.
Mhm.
It really is a lot of common sense on what you're trying to accomplish. Again, it's back to the tea. Do you want a lot of sugar? Do you want a little bit of sugar? You want no sugar? You know, which one do you like more lemonade? Do you like more tea? And figure out, you know, yourself what works for you. That would be the best way, I think, to go about it, and the easiest. You can do this personalized blending. You know, take this, print this out when Carol sends you the link. Take a screenshot again if you want to, and again, just write down, you know, or you just take a piece of paper, take a piece of paper. Okay, so we're not going to go backwards. We're going to go forwards. So again, this is what they're saying. So you got a headache, you got a migraine, your top node, you may pick out basil, the middle peppermint, and your base frankincense. And so the way that this would look on the percentage wise is you would have 5 drops of basil, 30 drops of peppermint, and 5 drops of your base. And then you're going to fill up the rest of the roller bottle, or just the straight bottle, because you may be using it in a diffuser, you know, or you may be taking it internally, depending on what oils you're using. But that's, if you're going to use it internally, don't add the fractionated coconut oil. But if you're going to use it topically, then go ahead and add that and fill up the rest of the 10 ml bottle. Most of these are based around 10 ml. So some of the other things to take into consideration is, again, the amount of each that you're putting in there, but don't get discouraged. So if you use that blend that you just made and it helped, but it wasn't quite right, then go back and adjust. So if you used the maximum of the middle and the lowest of the top and the bottom, maybe you need to bring down that middle and bring up the top and the bottom. Maybe next time you bring the top all the way up, bring the middle down and leave the base alone. So there's no right or wrong. It's whatever works for you. And that's what's so great about the oils.
Right.
You get to pick and choose.
Yeah.
It's not a cookie cutter answer.
Which does stress some people out. It does, because people want to know that exactly.
True.
Because even like with, are we on this page? What they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the computer that I see. I don't know if that's already
It is.
everybody's seeing that. Okay,
Yes.
so that issue right there that's on the screen,
Mhm.
that is so. That's one of the questions you get asked the most. What do you do for this issue.
Mhm.
Well, my first response back to people is, what do you think is the trigger for that?
Mhm.
Because if it's hormones, we're going to come at it from one aspect. If it's stress, it's one aspect. If it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that also plays into all of that and picking of the oils and knowing, because again, if you've made a list and you've got your top, and all that, and you're looking at
You
it
might
and going,
base your whole, if you know it's hormonal,
yeah,
you might base
yeah.
your whole blend on clary sage
right.
and then go from there.
And then,
Yes.
being able to, so again, and that is, again, it's taking responsibility. It's taking responsibility. It's knowing your own body and your own self, which I think women are much more prone to, because we've had to pay attention to our body since we were like 12.
Mhm.
I mean, really, truly,
Right.
or 10 or 9 if you're, whatever. But we've been geared for that. So we're already aware of that. We kind of know what's going on a lot of times in the body. And once you learn to pay attention, it's telling you way more than you think.
Mhm.
You just need to learn to listen,
Yes.
and we need to slow down, stop, all the things. But that's why, again, having different oils helps that fall into these top note, middle note, base, because what's causing that right there in you might be causing something different. So
That's
then we just
exactly
play
right.
with that and see what works.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. If you guys are looking for specific ratios, it is 28 drops of oil to every half an ounce of carrier oil. So for those of you who want to really, really get scientific on where you're at, instead of just fill it up,
The FCU or the carrier oil, what was
to a
it?
half an ounce.
Half an ounce. Okay.
Mhm. Yep. So, let's see if I've missed anything else that I wanted to take care of you. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, and I want to clarify one thing.
While you're
Okay.
clarifying, if you have questions, I've seen
Yes.
some come in, but if you have questions, go ahead and start typing them in the chat and we'll have Bonnie cover as many of them as she can.
Okay, so I'm going to clarify. When you said we were talking about, it was the comment that you made as far as combining all the citrus oils and not doing that. Okay, that isn't going to hurt anyone. Combining all citrus oils, if you do that and you decide you want to put all those in a roller, it isn't going to hurt you.
Correct.
It's just not maybe if all you're hoping to accomplish is a pick me up and I want to feel better, it may very well work.
And a
'cause
good
it's citrus
smell
oils
or-
and
yeah.
you know what I mean? And so I just wanted to clarify that, because sometimes people
That's
get
right.
concerned and they're like, oh, I can't do that. Sure you can do. You do whatever
You
you,
can,
want.
yeah, you can absolutely
You can do whatever you want.
whatever you want.
It's the same concept though as when we have a class and we talk about sleep oils.
Mhm.
And people pull out some wild sleep oils or just their favorite oil. And when somebody says their favorite oil is spikenard, I got to take a step back. I mean, so it's just, we're not going to hurt anything. And that's why we often say, just open the bottle, use
Yes.
something,
Yes.
the properties. But I just want to clarify, because I know some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't use lemon and grapefruit. And yeah, you can. This is blending. And when we're looking to accomplish something, maybe even a little bit bigger too than just a,
I would say, see, am I right? This is more for a therapeutic value. If you're just looking for something that smells good to diffuse in your house,
Yes.
these are not
necessarily
necessarily
have
the
to go
rules
to
that you
all-
have
yeah.
to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But even like, and doTERRA follows these rules on their blends.
Mhm. Sure.
So that's why the blends work,
Right.
because
Absolutely.
they are, they're built and designed around, the bottom, the middle, and the top notes. So
Sure.
again, that's what we want to, so again, if you want to do your own blends, then that's the best way
Sure.
to do them. But yeah, if you want to do
Gotcha.
3 citrus oils, then yeah, you're
Well, but if you
you're
think
gonna be
about
happy.
it, but if you think about it, that's exactly what citrus bliss is.
Exactly.
And with vanilla absolute.
Right.
It's all citrus.
Right.
Bring it on all day long. any and
Also,
all
when you
ways.
think
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
there's not necessarily a known therapeutic value for citrus bliss.
Oh,
It's
yes,
more.
there is. It saves lives.
It does save lives.
Every
I'm
day.
just saying it's more of an emotional, make me happy oil than
Sure.
it is
Which
a.
again is saving lives
Exactly.
every day. Yeah, we being honest. But yes, no, I know what you mean.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
I can't
okay.
see questions, so you'll have to-
Peggy's asking, would that be similar to taking Serenity and Balance together to really help soothe anxiety?
Mm.
True blending.
That would be my.
Yes. So you'd have to find out. Balance, we know, is in the middle.
Mhm.
Serenity, I don't know where that is.
Well,
So,
you
You've
have
got
to break-
lavender in
you'd have to
there,
break
and
the
you've
oils
got,
down.
yeah,
You've got vetiver,
vetiver.
but
which again is the bottom.
right. So
So
Serenity
basically
is,
you're
is
blending
mixed.
two blends.
Yes. So Serenity is already blended. Balance is already blended. I might, in that case, I might layer, because
Sure, yeah.
otherwise you're like doubling up. So yeah, I would layer.
Yeah.
on that. So you let the balance do what it's supposed to do. Let the Serenity do what it's supposed to do.
Like, you're gonna end up with valinity.
Yeah.
So yeah, so layering, yeah.
Yes.
Which is what I think on the whole people probably do. I mean, I don't know, maybe some people put them already in a roller together.
Well,
and
when you
go.
think about it, when we were doing the Igbok blend, we were combining Serenity and Balance and several of the other oils.
Mhm.
Sure.
And again, all you're going to do is you're creating a new recipe. That's all.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. a new
You know,
constituency.
but they're all, with them
Yeah.
already being blends, the majority of them, you were just making a new,
Sure,
a whole new oil.
Yeah.
Well, every time you do that, you're making a whole new oil.
Yeah.
And so it just depends on, again, how much of the high,
Yeah.
medium, and low that you have in there.
sure.
Is going to be the outcome of how it works.
Beth says she definitely used Balance and Serenity together in a roller bottle at Walmart when she worked there.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. And again, we don't know what's going on the inside of the body. We can have the same symptoms, and so stuff does work.
Well,
Works better for some people
and
than
in
other people.
In a case like that, she didn't necessarily have time to wait 20 or 30 seconds between and do
Sure.
it twice.
Sure.
She's just got to get it.
Yeah.
My philosophy is some oil is better than no oil.
Absolutely.
Get it on.
Absolutely.
Get it on, yeah.
The whole idea of the
You know.
layering is allow the one oil to absorb. It's like when we used to say, if you're using anything, if you're using peppermint on anything or a blend that has peppermint in it, peppermint is a driving oil. So you always layer that on top.
Yeah.
Now, if you had to throw it in a blend and just go,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sure,
That is
absolutely.
1,000% better than not using it
Right,
at all.
yes.
But if you could be just a little bit patient, then it's great to put that on, put the peppermint on top so that it'll actually drive that, down in your system. So,
Okay. Terry says a 1/2 ounce carrier oil is what size, please?
huh.
Can you relate it to a 5 ml bottle or other?
How much
Let me
is a half an
go.
ounce?
Let me go.
Half
Go
an
on to the
ounce
next
is-
question, and
is
I'll go
how many
measure. I'll go
mils?
measure it and show you.
We should be able to go to, let's see.
Oh, they're making it go away.
I'm just grabbing the teaspoon of measuring.
Well, I've got
you know.
2 other
Let's see.
questions, but I don't know if there were any before that.
Is 1/2.
I gotta move the questions over because I'm not seeing all of what the question is. Okay. Donna says there's a class that doTERRA is now doing. Is what we are learning now covered in that online class? Also, can we do the class at our own time frame? Donna, I'm not sure what class you're referring to. Can you type in the notes and tell us what class you're referring to?
I thought this would be easier so that.
There is,
It is a half an ounce is 15 ml, Terry.
okay,
A 1/2
ounce is 15 ml bottle.
Wow. That's more than I thought it would be.
I
Yeah.
thought it would,
Yeah, I
it'd
thought it would be
more like
less than
5.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then Terry says if you make a roller with several oils together, more than 3, but it's for several different reasons, and it must be left for others to roll on, is that a waste? I hear you do it if no other choice, but I had no idea how to do different.
Okay, let's see.
My piece of that is that, think of the blends that we have,
Yes,
and they have way more than 5 oils in them.
yes.
Like you think of the blends that doTERRA puts together. I mean,
Now they have the benefit of having all the scientific.
understand that.
Yeah.
That I understand. I just don't want people to be scared
Right,
of doing that.
Right.
Because again, Immortelle is one that comes to mind. It has at least 7. I'm
right.
almost positive.
Right.
When you go to any of the emotions oils, I can't think of anything that, I mean, they usually have more than 5.
Yeah.
So that, and I understand the concept and the doing of that, but I don't want people to be scared
Yeah.
that if I put 7 or if I put 10 or if I put.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
and again, in a certain situation like I know Terry's referring to,
Uh-huh.
put the oils together and get them to the person who needs
Yes,
them.
absolutely.
better than nothing. And again,
Right.
it may change the chemical makeup of that, but but
Yeah.
it's still going to do something.
Yeah.
It's going to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's looking at me
And
like,
no, anything is better than nothing.
yes.
Yeah.
It's just this is really, and that's why they call it the science part. This is really getting down to the nitty gritty.
Mhm.
If you want to, really get specific about what you're doing. Because a lot of times, again, we may have taken, oils and did a blend that we didn't realize was maybe 1 mid and 3, lower. That, that can, you may have wanted to add a high note in there to make it work better.
Mhm.
Even though that may not have, you may not have thought about adding a citrus oil to that, but again, that's all that balance and trying to get our
Right.
bodies,
Well, and if you put
balanced.
it back in regards to music, true music, a tenor and a bass singing together, it sounds great.
Can be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you add a third part, you add a higher, you add this
Mhm.
soprano or an alto, and that just brings it even, that it brings that harmony in and it gives it, so if you look at it in regards to that, stuff
Mhm.
is still functioning, it's
Yeah.
still good,
Right.
still can even be great.
When
but
you
can
add
it,
all 5
yeah,
parts,
yeah,
it's,
Yeah.
a baritone and a bass.
Sure.
Yeah.
It still works,
The
but
Osmond
it's much
family
pretty.
used to
Yes.
sing in 8/7 part harmony,
There you go.
And it was beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Terry asked for an example of when layering is not important. A roller blend we make will be just fine.
Terry,
Again,
she's hard questions.
I think it's what is the purpose?
Yeah.
So again, if I want the benefits of serenity and balance, I'm not going to put them together.
Mhm.
If I'm working on two separate completely different things. Now, say I'm putting something together for I'm not going to be compliant, your blood pressure, for an example, whether it's high or low, it doesn't matter. Doctor said you've got XYZ. You're trying to put something together for that. I don't think I would layer for that.
Yeah.
I think I would make a blend
Yeah.
and try to figure out what oils work best for that, to either bring them up or bring them down, whatever your situation is.
Well, even
Or-
like Beth's situation, when she said she combined serenity and balance,
Uh-huh.
it was for emotional support,
Right.
in that scenario. So
Right.
again, you put them together, it's okay.
Well, as opposed to doTERRA has put together the blend of Citrus Bliss.
Mhm.
It's all top note, with the exception of vanilla. I don't know what it is, but all top note oils. And I'm wondering if that's, part of the reason that they did it that way.
But you can't take Citrus Bliss internally, though, can you?
Correct, because of the vanilla. It's a
It's just
vanilla
because of the vanilla.
absolute.
Okay.
That's why.
So that made the vanilla,
I was gonna say people do all that, but yes. That's
you did not
yes.
hear what she just said. That's breaking the rules. No, I'm kidding. But it
I
could
do
be
sometimes.
yes. The vanilla could have a complete,
Uh-huh.
again, remember, you're changing, think about the tea. I think that's the
Mhm.
best example. You
Yeah.
are changing that oil
Right.
when you blend it. So they have the blends pretty well down
sure.
to a science. That's why I would tend to, I would layer
Yeah.
if it was like that. Or again, like I said, you're going to bed and you've got sore muscles and you want to go to sleep. Those are two completely different issues. I would layer in that situation.
Yeah.
Now, in a perfect world, that's probably how I would do it.
Yeah.
If you, are just,
if you're trying to get your middle school kid to use oils, and the easiest way
Put 'em together.
to get them to use oils is to put them in a roller
Sure.
bottle, put them in a roller bottle.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry. Bridget asked, how do we know if it's low, mid, or high? I'm going to assume she didn't see that slide. There's a whole breakdown. If you'll rewatch the video, Bridget, whole breakdown of slides where she showed which ones were low, middle, and high.
But they're also, if you get the ME book, you're going to have every oil that we have, instead of, there were just a few on each of the slides. But if you'll
Right.
get the ME book, it's going to tell you
Do
every
you know if
single
that's in
one
the
of them.
Essential Life book as well?
Do not know.
Okay. And again, if all else fails, you can Google it.
Yes.
You could Google and
Yes.
it'll tell you.
Yeah.
All things Googles will tell you.
Okay. Okay, let me go back down to the bottom. We have 4 new messages. I'm hoping one of them is Donna clarifying what she was asking. Okay, hang on. Terry said that's what I did, but wondered if a better way. Gotcha. It was a serious issue that we have gotten past, but I have it left over. I'm going to look at it. Okay, all right. Donna, the essential oil specialist certification. Okay, let me see what she asked again. Class that Terry's not there. Okay,
cover
the
this?
certification does not really cover this, blending in particular. This is honestly the only class that I've seen, and it's not original with us, but it's the only class that I've seen that covers this. I've done the essential oil certification course, and that deals more with, if you love science, you'll love that one, because it talks about, it explains the differences between a monoterpene and a sesquiterpene. I took the course. I'd still have to look at the notes to tell you what that is, but it made a lot of sense
In the moment.
In the moment.
Yeah.
It gave me a deeper appreciation for why a citrus oil does what it does. But no, Donna, the short answer is it doesn't really answer this type of thing.
Is it
And
Donna, is it Donna Murray?
Yes.
Okay, Donna, if this is the specific info, well, I mean, it's on here. This link is available.
Yes.
So you'll have this information. I was just gonna say, I can bring, when I come to Florida, I could bring my information like
Yeah.
this to look at, but it is,
Yeah.
a lot
So,
of it's on
so
here.
Donna, if you're just trying to revisit what we just learned about, tomorrow at some point during the day, because I have diamond retreat stuff to do, I will have the link for this processed and ready to put up on YouTube, and I will have it posted on the Essential Education page and the Team Holtz Essentials page, and on my website on the Learn With Me page. So there's 3 different places you can go to find it, actually 4, because you could also go to my YouTube channel to find it. So it will be available there. But in answer to your other question, the essential oil certification class is one that you can do in your own time frame. It's literally a chapter by chapter thing, and you just do it when you can. Blending good for a specific purpose, really? Yes, for multiple purposes, it sounds like layering may be best. Correct.
Yes.
Take the same view on diffusing as you do on topical. I don't know how you layer something in a diffuser.
No, you wouldn't be able to layer, obviously.
probably gonna be more like a
you're gonna
blend.
do a blend,
Yeah.
but you're gonna put them in independently. So
Right.
as the air comes through and picks up the oil, it may be more like layering. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where if
So
you put
the
it together
ratios-
and mix it and then put it in, you're just gonna have that new blend that you made. But if you're putting in like 3 drops of
Mhm.
frankincense
Uh-huh.
and 3 drops of, lemon, you're going to, the oils are not going to mix together. They're going to stay there. So as the air passes through,
Sure.
I would again say that that's going to be more like a layering
yeah,
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So paying attention to the ratios might be important too when you're doing a diffuser blend.
Yes.
If you're doing it specifically for a specific purpose and not
Yes.
just making your house smell pretty.
Right, correct. So the difference on diffusing and topically, I guess, let's see, would you take the same view on, yes, as you do topical? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
And Lisa's throwing in, there's a chart towards the back of the Essential Life book.
Great.
Good.
Thank
Okay, good.
You can always count on Lise.
Yep. Donna says, okay, thank you. Thank you. Diffuser meaning one purpose. Yes. When you talk about layering, you just put one oil on top of the other, correct?
Correct. That is correct. And Terry, the diffuser meaning one purpose, no, you can use multiple purposes in the diffuser as well.
Mhm.
So again, if you're trying to
You could put balance and serenity in your diffuser.
yes, absolutely.
Well, if you think about it,
Absolutely.
if you do have a diffuser in your bedroom at night and you're doing things like, for instance, in my diffuser right now, well, let's not criticize the notes because I don't have any idea, but this is what's in my diffuser and has been since the beginning of the crazy last year. Breathe, On Guard, and Citrus Bliss are in my diffuser. And now so is Eric's once that came out.
And
again,
I add adaptive.
There's
that.
different purposes. The Airx and the Breathe are given. That's respiratory. That's keeping things open. I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't seem to help with snoring that goes on in my bedroom at night. That doesn't per se. But and then On Guard for the reason of again supporting the immune system, and Citrus Bliss because I love it. And when I smell it, I go, okay.
Yeah.
So those are each for a specific reason
Yes.
in the diffuser.
Well,
So-
and when you think about the fact that when you diffuse, you spread the benefits of the oil over several hours of time. Whereas like my diffuser goes all night long
Yeah,
with the
mine
same
does too.
oils that I
Uh-huh.
put it in before I go to bed.
yeah, ours is too.
Whereas if I apply oils before I go to bed, then oils are seen as food in the body. So they're processed within a couple of hours at most.
At most, yeah.
And so you're benefiting really more probably from using the diffuser than you are topically over the entire night's time.
Yes.
I would put them on topically and do the
Absolutely.
diffuser, but yes. So yes.
So in my diffuser at night, I have On Guard and Airx, and then I have Console.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
those are for three
Again, for
completely
yeah,
different.
purposes. Yeah,
You know, but
absolutely.
I don't think I would actually put them in a blend and put
Yeah.
that, because that would completely, again, it changes and disrupts everything that each individual oil was
Yeah,
going to do.
Interesting.
Well, and even for me, just as a practical application of all of this, in the morning when I'm getting ready, I use a swipe of Adaptive across the back of my neck and on my wrists. I use a swipe of Balance and Layered, probably about 20 to 30 seconds apart, but I don't know that that's true, of Balance and Citrus Bliss on like my elbow pit and on my forearm, and just put those on there. And then I use Breathe on my ears and around my neck. So I'm using several blends, kind of layered, but they're not really layered because I'm using them on different parts of my body.
Yeah.
But the body gets the same benefit.
Yes. But if you put them all together into one roller ball and just put them like over your heart or on the bottom of your feet, I don't think that you would
Yeah.
get anywhere
May
near the
not.
benefit.
You're not getting
Because
the
again,
targeted
you-
support.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or Balance deodorant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Your mom said lots of good information. Thanks, guys. Glad the diffuser blend is okay for relax. Yep. All right. Beth says you got that right about the Balance deodorant.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
All right. Well, guys,
Oh, not
we've
too
been
bad.
just a little bit over an hour, but not too bad. So,
No.
Bonnie, good job.
Good job. Best.
Don't know what our topic will be. We'll have multiple topics next Monday night. We're going to flesh that out a little bit, just so you can kind of plan ahead as it looks right now. We'll do about a half an hour, probably 40 minutes, maybe at most, next Monday night, where we'll talk about several different
You
things.
mean on the Facebook Live?
Yes, on
Yes,
the Facebook
'cause
Live.
this was our
Yes,
last
I'm
one of
talking about
these.
Zoom. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm confusing the two.
Yeah.
But this is the last of our Zoom continuing education things for a little while now. We will have some options for you for continuing education in the future. Like I said, we're still fleshing all of that out. So if you are interested in making sure that you know the next time we do something, make sure that you're on my email list, which you just go to carolholtz.com and scroll down on the page and you can get set up for the email list. Or text the word learn, LEARN, to, let me see if I can remember the number, 615-270-2980, and that will get you set up on the text list, where I have a special list of people that are interested in making sure they don't miss any of the continuing education stuff. So that'll get you set up on that list, and only that list at this point in time. If you want to be on others, then reach out to me and I can tell you how to get on that. But we have anything else we need to tell them? I think that's it.
Yeah.
For tonight. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job.
It was good to see
I
you
love to
all.
listen to Bonnie
Thanks,
teach.
Terry.
So we will talk.